So, if it's not Sunday and it's not Monday and it's not Wednesday, then
It must be Tuesday.
and there you have it. We are in the building, down in sports. The key has been unlocked. The Outer Bears in the building, of course. Left-handed at RM Des on Twitter, which is this right now. We are in the building, live and direct. We are coming at y'all for a strong 90 minutes, man. It's a lot to talk about, a lot to cover, a lot to discuss. The Outer Bears hyped in charge. Women's college basketball back in full effect. World Series recap, great World Series. We're gonna get into that. NFL trade deadline. We're gonna get into that. Some NBA on NBC tonight. Ooh, we're gonna get into that. Um, and so before we get started, you already know what it is, who it is, how we go down. We got Browski in the building. She's over there. Browski's over there.
Uh-huh.
What up, world? What up, Browski? What's happening?
Oh man, not much. A lot of things moving and shaking in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, literally, right?
Trade deadline is always exciting. See what the second half of the season will bring. See who are buyers, see who are sellers, see who are sellouts.
Yeah, she said sell out.
Winners, losers,
Right.
how it all go. And then, of course, start of college basketball, both sides, the men's and the women, just came out of nowhere. Like these years are just flying past. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. This is one of the best times of the year where you have majority of sports on TV every night. A little bit of basketball, a little bit of football, a little bit of hockey, a little
Right.
bit of college football, a little bit of college basketball. It's a lot of things happening all at once, and we just had a great World Series,
Mm-hmm.
just wrapped up.
Yeah, we could
Um,
jump. We could jump into that right now. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah. I mean, one of the I think it's like one of the best World Series that we had in a while. Highly competitive. It wasn't like a one-sided show. A lot of back and forth. Went all the way to a game 7. Had some crazy play. I mean, we had an 18 inning,
Mm-hmm.
game. That's
Mm-hmm.
a classic World Series. Like crazy. Then we had like 11 in the game. Like it's nuts. We had a ball get stuck. You know, get stuck in the wall with the Dodgers what- right fielder made a heads up play by just putting his hands up like, oh, I can get the ball, saved a run and saved the World Series for the
Yep.
Dodgers.
Yep.
Like people look at that and they was like, oh, that's cheating. I said no, that's
That's
part of
in
the
this in
game.
the
That's a
game.
heads up.
Yeah.
I said that's a heads up because if he had touched the ball, 2 runs is going to
You
score. The game is
scored.
over.
Mm-hmm.
The game is over. The series would have flipped, and we would be saying congratulations to the Toronto Blue Jays instead of congratulations to back-to-back champions, LA Dodgers, winning back-to-back. And we see some lights out pitching on both sides. I mean, Yamamoto, winning World Series MVP was well deserved because this guy was amazing in the game that he pitched in. Like he was lights out. You know, um, he had a complete game underneath his belt during the postseason, and then in the World Series, he was like unhittable. It was crazy. Um, salute to Toronto. Salute to Vlad. He did his thing. Um, it was really good. Like I said, one of the a really good series that we haven't seen in a while. Very exciting. It was must see baseball, and
Mm.
I was very satisfied. Even though my team wasn't it, but I was extremely satisfied. It was like I was looking forward to seeing each game because you didn't know what was going to happen. It was always some type of drama. You turn on the game and you see Toronto up 5-0, and you're like, oh yeah, Toronto got this game. and then you turn the channel, and then you turn back, and it's 5-5 going into extra innings, and then next thing you know, Dodgers pulled out winning in 6-5. It's like it's crazy. Like how did that happen? Well, they just come up with 5 runs in like the seventh and eighth inning. So it was very exciting. I think it was really good for baseball. It just showed the excitement on both sides. Like I said, it wasn't a squash match. It was two teams that was pretty much evenly matched. And I think it was good. How did you feel about the World Series?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say this. First of all, salute to everybody who kind of like all of a sudden thought that baseball was a rich person's game. Yeah, you already know how where it's going, Browski. Um, I feel like if you're a baseball fan, you don't even have to be a purist. This baseball World Series gave you everything you needed. It gave you bench clearance situations. It was about to go down.
Yeah,
It gave you
yeah,
everything: defense, offense, pitching, right? It gave you everything you could ask for in a baseball series over 7 games. Actually, 8 games, 18 innings, right?
yeah,
So when you talk about the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, the two best teams, um, no, but they played the best, right? We can agree with that. They played the best. And when they collided from the door, we was getting some good baseball, right? It went to 7 games. Toronto, did what they needed to do, but the Dodgers were always getting that clutch hit, whether it was Will Smith, whether it was, Teoscar Hernandez, whether it was Mookie Betts, right? But it always going to come back to Game 6 with Yamamoto, Game 7 with Yamamoto, right? And that play, like that was the one where he gives up in left field. That wasn't even the one. The one in the night when the guy hit the ball to center field, and I don't know if it was Pagaz knocked down Kike Hernandez. The guy they was not playing.
yeah,
So
yeah,
again, the double play to end Game 6 was it Browski when he caught the
yeah,
short liner and then threw it and then the short. And see, here's the thing: you're looking at two baseball heads right here. So when we talk about short hops and in between hops, there's a difference, right?
yeah,
And so on that particular play right there, it was only like the throw, like Bosky, we played softball, we played baseball, like coming
yeah,
in on a short line, it wasn't a line drive, it was a fly ball, so you had to come in on it, right?
yeah.
So your momentum is carrying you forward. So he's
Mhm.
still, he's seeing the guy coming. He's too far off for second base. He makes the throw in the second base, but the throw wasn't. You know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
wasn't the throw. It was the play by the what was his name? Come on, Browski. What was it? The guys that Rojas.
Rojas.
It was the play by Roy. He had to reach
Yeah.
a double play to end of Game 6. Go to Game 7. All these games. If you're not a baseball head, then this is not for you. But if you're a baseball head, that's what people are talking about. This World Series was Game 7 in this World Series. I've seen a bunch of Game 7s.
Yeah.
79 with the Pirates and Orioles, that wasn't had nothing on this. Maybe 2001 with the Yankees and the Diamondbacks. Because I'm about to keep it so real with you, Browski, because I'm a baseball dude. Mariano Rivera, and I'm going to say it again. Mariano Rivera threw that World Series away. When the ninth inning, trying to make the
Yeah.
double play, and Jeter got hurt.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to digress. This World Series, if it doesn't go down as one of the best in recent times, it's unfair.
Yeah.
And you know me,
I agree.
I'm not Stanley, get off my yard, but I'm an old head to the fullest, and I'll rep it to the fullest. but I got to give it up. I got to give it up. You got to give it up to these new guys that came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? I mean, we know about the Alejandro Kirks, and we know about Boba Fett just came off the disabled list and did what
Yes,
he did.
made a huge impact.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? And then you have, on the Dodgers side, you got the strategy that, Dave Roberts had to use with, when Otani was getting rocked, right? So, what do? You know what I mean? Because he's in the game as a pitcher and a DH, right? So a lot of strategy involved, a lot of excitement involved. The way the World Series ended, they're going to talk about it for a long time. And again, I got to give props where props is due. It was a very, 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 very entertaining World Series. Props due to Toronto. Vladimir Guerrero, he took it. You know, I'm not going to shed no tear for him. I feel sorry for him because it was all what my man say. It was all good a week ago.
Yeah, it was.
It was all good a week ago. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You was Yankees lost, Yankees lost. I mean, you couldn't stop saying it. You and your man, Mr. Steroid David Ortiz. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Ooh, look
sorry.
at you taking this thing.
I'm
You gotta
sorry.
take a shot.
I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Don't come at the don't come. And then you got Jeter sitting there. He got to eat that. It don't really matter about A Rod. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
on one
yeah.
tonight. Browski's in the building.
Roll it back in. Roll it back in. That's over. That's over with. Roll
Back
it
to
back in.
back to the World Series. All salute, respect due to the Dodgers, man. Respect due to the Toronto Blue Jays because they did what they had to do to get there. So you got to respect that. Can't wait for next season if there's a next season. You know what I mean? Um,
I think it's gonna be the next season. I think the strike. I think
with CBA,
the potential strike in the CBA is next season,
okay, at the
not
27th.
this
Okay,
upcoming season.
okay.
27. Yeah,
So
that's where we start getting a little iffy. I think by right after the All Star break, we can probably start to get the feel if we're going to have a season in 2027, trying to see where the players are. Because right now, if it was next season, we wouldn't have a
right,
season
right,
the
right,
way
right,
the
right.
players are feeling right now.
Mm.
But I feel like right now, we got another year, of baseball, and hopefully they'll find a way. They'll find a happy medium with this contract. But yep, World Series was fire. I mean, if we didn't have a season next year, to go out with this World Series that we just had, it would I would be satisfied. This will hold over for a little bit, but we'll see what happens next season. A lot of things should be shaken up. In baseball next year, so we'll see. But that's over with.
Look at
Baseball is
this.
now done.
Basky's ready to get away from the conversation. But what I was getting ready to say is that what do you see and what do you feel about 2026? What do you about your
Well,
Phillies?
um, it's hard to say. We have a lot of free agents out there. A lot of big names. We don't know what's going to happen with Kyle Schwarber. We don't know what's going to happen with JT. Ranger Suarez is also out into free agency. So it all depends on what Dombrowski and these guys can come up with. I mean, um, would I like to have Schwarber back? Of course, if the price is right, because I can't see us paying this guy so much money and still getting the same results.
Mm.
He's been here this whole time. We had one World Series appearance, and then each year it just got progressively worse. You know, so we just have to see. We gotta see. Wait and see.
I'm gonna keep it real brief on my Yankees right quick. Um, like I said, even after the World Series was over, I said, well, what do we have coming back? We got Max Fried, right? We got Louis Hill coming back. Hopefully, we'll have Garrett Cole coming back. Hopefully, we'll have Clark Schmidt coming back. Um, I mean, and what else do we need to do? We need to get our situation fixed at third base. Whether we're going to have Ryan McMahon or we're going to go after Alice Bregman, which would kind of like to me solidify offense. Are we going to keep Cody Bellinger or are we going to let him do the free agent thing? Because as far as the outfield is concerned, we have Dominguez in left. We bring up Spencer Jones to play center, and we'll have Aaron Judge in right. So I mean that situation to be rectified. I don't know if Giancarlo Stanton's going to come back. What do we do as far as Austin Wells and the catching situation? What are we going to do with Anthony Volpe? He had shoulder surgery, so we don't know what this situation is going to be like. So again, I feel like where we are is in flux. Now it's been what since 2009. Now it's been 16 years. So I want to get off into that thing. I've already had that conversation about doing the math between Yankee championships and all that. But yeah, the World Series was dope. 2025 season starting in Japan, ended in Toronto. I
Ended
guess
in Nashville.
yeah, we'll leave that right there. Down in Sports Talk, we are in the building. You already know what it is, live and direct on every Tuesday nights. Something went down today. Myself and Yada Bear over there, we like to call it the NFL trade deadline, where some people get moved around before a certain time on the clock. That certain time on the clock was today at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Um, Yada Bear's team, her beloved Philadelphia Eagles, made a couple of power moves. You know what I mean? You want to talk about those power moves a little bit, Browski? Who you guys got?
Sure. I mean, we knew going into this trade, the trade deadline, that we needed to make a couple of moves. Most importantly, on the defense side, um, CB2, corner two. We went into the season not in good shape at that position. How we went out first. First move we made was Michael Carter third from the Jets. You know, okay. It was an okay move. I wasn't like jumping out the window, but it was still better than what we had. Then a day a day went past, and Howie got on the phone again, and next thing you know, we have Jair Alexander. Now that's an upgrade. He coming from Baltimore. The situation in Baltimore is a little wild. Um, I feel like he kind of helped with the wild situation so that he can get out of Baltimore, because Baltimore right now is a sinking ship. You know, um, we know Jair from his days with the Packers. You know, he was a decent corner there in Green Bay. Mm,
Dare I say overrated?
I mean, you can. We have seen him get burnt a lot. You
Burnt,
know,
bacon burnt.
we have seen that, but I think it was an upgrade from where we was currently sitting.
Mm-hmm.
At that
Mm-hmm.
slot. Now we do have Jacorian Bennett that's coming back from IR. Um, I believe he should be playing on Monday. So we'll, you know, we will see. But the move that impressed me the most,
Mm-hmm.
was when Howie got on the phone and made a call to the dumpster fire in Miami and said, "Hey, you got a young, talented, edge rusher that, was a little banged up. coming back from off an injury, but he's
Mm-hmm.
extremely talented,
Mm-hmm.
and we would like to acquire his talents for a third round pick. I said, oh, Howie, you know that was a good move, and someone who's familiar with Vic Fangio's defense.
Mm-hmm.
When Fangio spent his time down there, I I'm happy with it. We didn't give up a lot, but I feel like we got a lot back in return. We got some teams out there giving up multiple first round picks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, for a player that not having the best couple of years.
Backsliding. Talk about it, Browski. They backsliding.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
and
Browski gonna keep it green with you. I'm gonna keep it green with you too, because we gonna get into it. Go ahead, Kimmy. We gonna get into it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, I feel like how he
Browski's the good cop.
did what how he do best, and that's roll and deal and make phenomenal moves. You know, without having to give up the kitchen. We gave up John Minchie. Well, okay, we gave up a 6 round pick out of. We gave up a 7 round pick, got a 6 round pick back. We gave up what I think another 6 round pick for um, Jair Alexander, and then we gave up a 3rd round pick for the kid from Miami, who's young, who's not going to be. If we decide to keep him next season, won't be extremely expensive to sign. He's going to fall into the rotation. Then we get Nolan Smith coming back. After he been on IR, we got Brandon Graham that's back. You know, so a lot of rotational pieces there. So hopefully we're just continue to do what we do, and we just build off our last 2 games and go into Monday at Green Bay and remind the Packers that they're still inferior to the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, but the other moves that was interesting that I didn't see coming within my own division. Jerry Jones is a sly son of a gun. He pulled off a good move. Um, Quentin Williams.
Hold up.
Quit.
Hold up.
Okay, go ahead.
You not gonna talk about Tank Bigsby?
Well, that was earlier. We already seen the effects of that, and we already seen how quickly he took the running back 2 spot. You know, really, really fast. So I didn't even have to,
Look at this.
brag about that because the proof was in his actions. The last game against the Giants when we had two running backs rushing for over 100 yards. We haven't had that in a while. So his actions already
Paying
justified
off, right? Okay,
that
look at
trade.
that. They ain't got to be.
You know,
They ain't got to talk about it, man. You heard me?
I,
They ain't
I ain't have to say
got-
nothing about it because he already proved us right. It was they couldn't really figure out where to throw him in at. First, he was
Mhm.
doing like kickoff return and
Right,
I'm
right,
like,
right.
nah. You gotta get this man the rock.
Give me
He's
some
he's
burns,
big,
son.
he's
Right, right,
fast.
right.
He's fast. He's kind of elusive, and he runs hard. He runs. So the name Tank fits him perfectly. He was definitely running through that Giants defensive line that's supposed to be quote unquote elite. Well, it didn't look elite at all because he was bushing through them all.
Mm.
But I didn't want to have to, I didn't want to brag about that. I had to bring that up. But again, one of Howie's, acquisitions. Once again, these GMs out here need to pay attention because Howie always make the right decision when it's needed. It does. But let me go back to these these Cowboys. It's very funny that they went and they got Quentin Williams.
Hmm.
Talented guy from the Jets. I always had an eye for him. Like, man, I wish we could have this guy on our D line. But the Cowboys secondary is still trash. We just witnessed it. Jacoby,
Brissett.
Jacoby was carving these guys up.
Jacoby Brissett. He used to be Tom Brady's backup.
He used to be, yeah. But Jacoby
Right.
Brissett was out there
He was out there
carving up
working,
these
putting in work.
Cowboys
Yes.
secondary.
Yep.
So, um, you know, when the Cowboys traded Michael Parsons
Hmm.
for Clark, they emphasized on wanting to be able to stop the run, which I understand because when you look within your own division, the Super Bowl champions have a great running game. Like you have to figure out a way to stop the run. So I understood that, but now when you look at the defense as a whole, the secondary is trash. Linebackers, they made a trade for what you call him, the kid from where's he from? The linebacker they got.
Who? Logan Wilson from
Cowboys.
Cincinnati? Yeah, Logan
Yeah,
Wilson,
yeah.
Cincinnati.
Logan will. Yeah, they traded for him. Um, to help out, but to me, with the Cowboys, the season's done. You're 3-5-1. That like those those moves. Yeah, they look good on paper. They might give you a win or two, but you still 3-5-1 right now. Like that does nothing for you for this season. You still have so many holes to fill on that team. Um, I have to say the Jets. You see what the Jets is doing. It's tank season over there. They got rid of everybody.
Hmm.
Of any notoriety, especially on the defensive side.
What did
They
you
just
think? What did you think when when you first heard about the Sauce Gardner trade?
um. Well, I knew that he was going to get traded. I knew he was going to get traded. There's no way in hell that he was going to stay on that team and this team is going nowhere because now he's going to start chirping. You know, um, I think two first round picks was a high price. I wouldn't have gave him two first round picks for Sauce, but that's just me. Him going to the Colts help definitely do help their secondary, um, because that was kind of proven this week too that the Colts have some holes in the secondary
Hmm.
that need some
Hmm.
help out there.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that's a good trade for them. I think they paid a little too much because you gave up two first round picks for Sauce, but the Cowboys only gave him a first round pick for Quentin Williams.
And Williams.
You know, um, I was surprised that Brees Hall didn't get traded.
Right.
I think he
But
was a
they got
possible.
some they got some problems in their running game. That's why he didn't get traded. They got some injuries in their running game. So they
I
needed him.
mean, I mean, what you going? It's the season is dead. Like it don't matter. I feel like they should just blow up the whole team. Like you got rid of Sauce, you got rid of Williams. The next marquee guy, Brees Hall, he wants to leave. So then you holding him hostage, and then you got the receiver
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson. So for to me, for real, like blow up the whole team, start over.
Well, they damn sure
Let
tried
this
to.
let this new front office bring in their guys. because the guys that was there wasn't didn't work out. Um, I think the Saints also, the Saints also blow the team up. Trading Shaheed,
And keeping Alvin Kamara
crazy work.
crazy,
And
crazy.
I'm telling you, the people who I thought that was gonna get traded didn't get traded. I was like, I know Brees Hall is getting out of there. I know Alvin Kamara's getting out of there. And I even thought, I said, I kind of feel like Chris Olave may also get traded
Hmm.
too because what's going on in New Orleans? It's a dumpster fire. It's a trash show down there. So for them to get Shaheed out of there and still have
Chris
Alvin
Olave,
Kamara
Alvin Kamara. Yep.
was it was wild. And Alvin Kamara every year he's always on the trading block. So it's like, all right, well trade the guy, trade him.
Hmm.
I thought Jacoby Myers getting traded. He wanted to get traded.
Hmm.
So him getting traded wasn't a big shock. Um, does it help Jacksonville? Not
Not
really.
really.
I feel like Jacksonville's going to look the same
Yeah, because the
because
other
the guys
receivers are
running
hurt.
the ball.
Yeah.
Eh, Yeah, and it wasn't like ooh, Jacoby Myers. Like
Yeah. Right. 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 Right.
it
Right.
was, all right. Jacoby Myers got moved. Okay.
Whatever. Right. Right.
Um,
Hmm.
I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like certain teams that needed help just didn't really didn't make any type of moves at all. You know, like a team like I
Atlanta,
was
and Kirk Cousins.
I was going to say yeah, like what are we doing in Atlanta?
That was the perfect
So
time to get rid of Kirk Cousins, but hey,
yeah, and again he falls in line as a player that I'm like, oh, they're gonna get him out of here. You know, a Kirk Cousins going to I don't know Miami. A Kirk Cousins going to I don't know Arizona. A Kirk Cousins going to I don't know Cleveland. You know,
Kirk Cousins going to
it didn't.
the Jets.
Going to the Jets, going to Cincinnati, places like that. It just didn't happen, and it was surprising because I'm like, well, Atlanta, why are you holding on to this guy? For what? Like, are you so afraid to let Michael Penix just have full reign of the team that you gotta keep this $100 million security blanket back there? And if he was that good, he would be starting, right?
Without a doubt.
All right.
Without a doubt.
Um, who who was your biggest shock?
Shocked. I mean, I was surprised when I was like, I didn't see Sauce Gardner get traded. Like, I was like, okay. Um, but then Quentin Williams, I'm like, and then at the end of the trade deadline, when you have the Jets, the team making the biggest quote unquote name moves, um,
Yeah.
that says a lot to where we are and what we're doing. I mean, I'm not mad at the draft, the trade deadline. I mean, some action. It's a lot of action, is what you expect. Really not a lot of movement. No movement from my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which I'm not mad at. You know what I mean? I think we could have went out there and snatched the receiver. But hey, now what do I know? But again, the biggest surprise to me, um, you look at a guy like a Tyson Campbell, right? He went from Jacksonville to Cleveland. That's like a parallel move.
It is.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you look at that. You say, okay. You look at let's say Tank Bigsby for example. He went from Jacksonville to Philly. That's an upgrade. A
Yeah.
lot of these dudes made parallel moves. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
look at
Look
the
at
guy.
Jarvis Brownlee. He went from Tennessee to the Jets. You know what I mean? Who else could we put on here?
Draymond Jones.
Yeah, yeah.
Draymond Jones went from
Tennessee
Tennessee
to Baltimore.
to Baltimore.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me see. What was I getting ready to say? Oh, Jalen Polk. He went from the Patriots to the Saints. Like a lot of these dudes just made. I guess either their situation was called for them to make a move or whatever because you really didn't jump out the window, right? Again, the dudes that jumped out the window in this particular scenario is Sauce Gardner, Quentin Williams. You could say Logan Wilson to a certain degree, but if you look at the quality of players, look at the Eagles. They got Jalen Phillips, Jair Alexander, Michael Carter II, and they already had Tank Bigsby, who was doing work already. So again, it's what you do with what you get. You can get all these guys, and they don't end up doing nothing. They end up getting lost in the sauce. Are we going to ever hear from Adonai Mitchell again? Even though he's going to be playing for the Jets, right? Because Garrett Wilson's on the other side. But who's going to get him the ball?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Like,
yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree with that. I mean, look at a guy in Kyle Duggar that went from Patriots to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh definitely needs some help in their secondary. Pittsburgh, once again, highest paid defense out there. The worst defense out there. They
they
invest
played
so much
decent against the
money.
Colts,
Yeah, yeah. The one
and the
game, but you
and the
invest
Colts were
so
supposed
much
to be
money.
one of those top teams coming in. Right? Go ahead, Browski, go ahead.
Yeah. But you invest so much money in your defense for your defense to look
Like
like
that.
like that, so that you had to make a trade, and hopefully this trade pans out for them. Um, Also, we look at what's his name, the guy from Mozzie Smith,
Uh,
from Dallas, going Dallas to the Jets. He was a part of that trade for Quinion. Um, but you got some of the trades that was made prior to the deadline. The Greg Newsome's going from
Cleveland and
Cleveland to
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. That's a pivot. It's
And
not
Joe
overly
Flacco going from Cleveland to
yeah,
Cincinnati.
yeah.
hmm
Cam Robinson,
hmm
going from the Texans to the Browns.
Right. hmm
It's
And
it,
one of my favorite names. He used to play for Tampa Bay. Joe Tryon Shoyinka.
oh
Say
yeah,
that.
going from Chicago.
Say that 5 times
I mean,
fast. Joe Tryon Shoyinka. Right.
Chicago did need some help for the pass rush. So having a defensive, bring him in a defensive end. To help with that. But it's really nothing really like jaw dropping,
Right.
eyes popping, like oh my god, it, the two biggest trades I'll say is the Sauce John, it's the Sauce Corner and the Quentin Williamson. Quentin Williams is the two biggest trades,
But
big
like you
news.
said, you're more surprised than I am too at the people who didn't get traded. But they've been talking all this. Well, they go up to the trade deadline. The trade deadline is coming, and Trey Hendrickson, and he don't want to be in Cincinnati, and and they're going to get rid of him, and they're going to trade Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson's still in Cincinnati.
Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett.
Miles
Oh,
Garrett.
he's
The
going to
whole
go
Miles
just.
Garrett thing. You know,
Was it y'all supposed to get Miles Garrett?
hey, they offered them three first round picks.
Mm.
I wouldn't pay three first round picks. I would rather have Max Krause. That's me personally, you know, personally. But I am happy with another Jalen. We are the team of Jalen's. Okay, we have so many Jalen's,
You
so
don't know what to
many
do with it,
different
brother.
spellings of Jalen. So it's JB, JB, JC, JH. We got so many Jalen's out there. I'm happy with our decision. Now we just got to see if it pans out. Um, and the first test will be on Monday. Um, but the fact that the fact that this guy is still on the Saints team is crazy to me. It's crazy that he would get traded.
Well,
Like I don't understand. Why are they holding on to this guy? You can still get some value from him. I can't believe that Brees Hall is still on this team.
yeah, I mean,
I can't believe
that was
Kirk
out of
Cousins
necessity.
is still on this team.
Mm-hmm.
But you know who won't be on that team probably next year? Kyler Murray.
Mm.
Because it's crazy that Jacoby Brissett basically took his job Monday. This is supposed to be healthy. He's a healthy scratch for next week. They already announced
Mm-hmm.
that for next week, Brissett is starting. And
Mm-hmm.
that tells me everything I need to know about Kyler Murray that I already knew. That I already been saying that this guy is not going to pan out in the league.
You gonna
Because
have
to
but
me
that.
personally,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't look like he want to play football. You know,
You've been saying that,
he can't see over the line.
right?
He all take the
I've
ball
been
out.
saying that. Yeah.
You know, he he hasn't gotten any better. The fact that they had to put in his contract that he couldn't play Call of Duty, he had to watch game like you got to watch this many hours of game film a day
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
crazy, to me. And when you're a smaller guy like that, why not reach out to other smaller guys that played in that position that were successful? A Drew Brees, a Steve Young, a Russell Wilson. Like you could have reached out and got some guidance, but he's not going to. I can guarantee he would not be in Arizona next year. He
We
probably
ain't
be
gonna be
somewhere else.
Sacramento.
Where?
Sacramento with the A's.
He he missed his chance of being a great shortstop. He should have been a shortstop. He should have went to baseball. He should have been in baseball. He should have been a shortstop. But when you have teams like the Jets, the Browns, the Titans, someone like that will always have a job. You know, they will always find a job. The Raiders, you know, he'll get a job somewhere.
Um, you, I put a lot of stock into the Cardinals beating the Cowboys. The Cowboys
Yes,
stink. Period.
it do stink.
The Cowboys
Hmm.
stink. They stink bad, right? Um, where are we at with um the kid from Washington? And
Oh, you mean the new RG3?
yeah,
I mean, this is one hell of a sophomore slump.
mm,
I'll say that. Again, another example of people crowning someone elite. We always want to put that word elite on people. Oh, he's top five, top 10, one season. Now look at him now. You know, just came back. Just came back from injury. Just came back. And my thing is, this is Dan Quinn's fault. This is his fault. You're getting blown out, you know,
mm-hmm.
And I'm looking like, well, why, um, why is he still in the game? You know,
Right.
why is he still in the game? It's what 38-7,
38-7.
something like that. Why is your quote unquote franchise quarterback just returned from injury in the game? Marcus Mariota should have been out there closing out the game. That's what he should have been doing. And the fact that once again you mismanage that it is wild to me. And now, I mean, to me, he should be done for the season. Don't rush him back. Don't come back. You know,
Come back for what?
it was it was a nasty fall.
Yeah. Oh.
Like all these injuries that we have been seeing for the past couple of weeks has just been nasty.
Hmm.
You know, starting with Tyreek Hill,
Right.
Cam, Scatterboo,
Hmm.
and now Jimmy Daniels. So
Right.
it was crazy that at the start of the season, once he started getting hurt, I started seeing it in my head. I said, "Wow!" I said, "This guy is definitely turning into RG3. It's like the resurrection of him for the Commanders. It's almost like the Commanders are cursed. It's almost like it, almost. But I'm not gonna cry about it. Mm, That's their fault. They ain't play
Yeah.
fault.
I mean, you got
I don't want
um
them. I never want to see nobody get hurt like that.
yeah, not like that.
Um,
You know what I'm
not like
saying?
that.
But
But it,
as a
it was definitely
coach,
a disservice for
you gotta use your noodle, man. You
him.
know, my godmother, may she rest in peace. Um, she always said a good run beats a bad stand. So you're down 38-7. What was you trying to prove? Right?
Yeah,
It's
you
easy
don't
for
prove.
us. It's easy for us to sit here and say that yada, but
Hmm.
it's common sense.
Yeah,
I think if Yada Bear was coaching the Washington Commanders and her team was getting blown out on a Monday night, all right, put the other guy in there. This one's over, all right? You know what I mean?
yeah,
We're gonna pack it up. You know what I mean? Because they're packing us up, so we're gonna get our star guy out of there and get ready for next week. But I don't know what the mentality of these coaches could possibly be out of there. Like, who,
yeah.
what was you thinking about? How many points do you think that you were gonna get? Because you wasn't winning the game. That's out. You wasn't winning. Sam Darnold and them was tearing you up, right?
Definitely was
So,
carving y'all up.
oh my God, you made Sam Darnold look like Sammy Ball. That's going too
Yeah,
far back, but like for real, like I mean, like everything he threw, he was like what 16 for 16, and he
yeah.
wasn't
He was.
throwing no screen passes or no 2 yard. He
He
was
was throwing
throwing
bombs.
darts. He was
Hmm.
throwing yeah, and it seemed like every Jackson was open, the tight end dude was open, everybody was open every time. So
Yeah,
you're getting blown out, right? And you decide your wisdom tells you to keep Jaden Daniels in. Why? Because he's going to make a play for Sports Center. What? Because you're going to cover. Why? You're going to cover the over. Like what's going on?
yeah. It was crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
That was,
So I feel like these coaches, man, they're supposed to be leaders of men, and they're supposed to be setting examples and things of that nature. But you set yourself up to get crucified in by from all sides because even the simplest person would have known to take the guy out, right? So this is not no, oh well, you're a Monday morning quarterback in and you're sitting. Nah, no. So
yeah.
again, now Jaden Daniels, how long he's going to be out? Hopefully, he can. This season is a wash. You're not. First of all, you're not playing for nothing. Second of all, you're not playing up to par. You take a step backwards. The Washington Commanders are this year's Houston Texans, a team that everybody thought was going to make some noise. A team they was in the NFC Championship game. A team that everybody thought was going to make some noise. They start feeling themselves, and they get out of pocket. And now look at where we are now. I
I
don't know
get
what
what
that
you're saying.
noise is in the background. I don't know what that noise is. You hear that?
Yeah, I got it
Yeah.
up in
All right,
here.
no doubt.
Something.
But yeah, so again, what was what was my man Dan thinking about, yo? You know what I'm saying? But
I
oh
don't think
well,
he was
I
thinking.
don't think he was thinking at all either, Browski. But you know, looking around the league, you had the Buffalo and Kansas City matchup again. This time, Buffalo kind of like to me established themselves. Even though we talked about how Kansas City, getting all their weapons back and they, feeling themselves, they're gonna make a run. What did Buffalo show you in that game? Because I want to talk about that for a minute. What did Buffalo show you in that game?
Um, they didn't really show me much.
Exactly.
They didn't
Exactly.
show me much at all because
Right.
I have seen Buffalo beat Kansas City in the regular season.
Thank you,
I
Browski.
never seen them beat them when it counts. So it didn't. I wasn't impressed by it.
Right.
That game could have went either way for me. Now it'd have been impressive if they would have blew them out, but they didn't. They
Mm,
kept them in the game.
mm.
Um, yeah, it was nothing. It wasn't what I seen from it is um, what happened to Keon Coleman. What happened to him?
Right.
You know, he he was supposed to be their premier receiver, and he has been non-existent
Hmm.
this entire season so far. They heavy relying on Josh. It's heavy Josh Allen, James Cook, and Dalton Kincaid, and the other tight end. It's been where's where is his receivers?
Hmm.
He's not getting no real production from his receiver core. And to me, that's going to show up in the postseason, and it has. You know, so when people's like, oh, Buffalo's superior. They showed the Chiefs that they mean business, but I'm like, it's the regular
They
season.
always show the Chiefs they mean
They
business in the
show
regular
them
season.
every regular season,
They
but
always
in the
show they mean
playoffs,
business in the regular
and
season.
because in the last couple Super Bowls, the Chiefs been in the Super Bowl. I haven't seen the Bills in the Super Bowl, since the '90s.
Hmm.
So that means nothing to me. So you know,
Let me ask
kudos
you.
kudos to the Bills for winning.
Let me ask you this. So now we got week 9 in the books. Now get ready to go to week 10. Um, is this where the kind of like we get the fork in the road where teams that we expected that were early, successful early, the Colts, so to
Hmm.
speak, is this where they start to kind of like fall back? Because the Colts got thoroughly beaten by the Steelers up and down the field. They had like 4 turnovers. Daniel Jones didn't play like what we expected to see. So now has the Colts now even with the addition of Sauce Gardner now in the secondary. Are they going to kind of rebound from that? Are they going to be championship material, or are they going to fall? Lose now maybe 2 or 3 games in a row to get them to fall back to the pack, and they were kind of like pretenders instead of contenders.
Well, I never looked at the Colts as being contenders
Hmm.
because you can't trust Daniel Jones. That's number one. He had a couple good, really good games because the running game was going. They
Right.
shut they shut what you
Jonathan
call it,
Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor down. They shut him all the way down. It also exposed their offensive line. The offensive line isn't as good as it had looked before because that pass rush of the Steelers was ridiculous. It was very relentless. They kind of almost looked like steel curtain against them guys. Um, so I see them as being contenders. Um, will they win the AFC South? Probably because can't trust Houston.
Right.
Can't trust the Jags.
Right.
Damn sure can't count on the
Tennessee's are
Titans.
not right.
So
Not a factor.
yeah,
Right.
so would Are they going to win the AFC South because of them having a hot start? Probably. Um, I could see them winning probably 10 games. I could see them winning 10 games, maybe 11. They're already what 7-2. Um, I think, like you said, we're going to start seeing who are the contenders. Um, I think the Broncos are a contender. I think they're a very balanced team.
Somebody
Um,
picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
yeah,
I ain't gonna say no
somebody did.
names. Somebody
I
picked the
see
Broncos to go to
Buffalo.
the Super Bowl.
I see. I see the Chargers being pretenders
Mm.
because I have been saying this for years. We have to stop looking at Justin Herbert as if he is a top tier quarterback. We have to be honest with ourselves when it pertains to Justin Herbert. People wants to keep saying like this guy is on the same level. When we talk about the Joe Burrows and the Lamar Jackson, the Pats and the Allen, the Jalen's and the
Mm-hmm.
Staffords and the
Mm-hmm.
he's not. He's not that guy. Um, I feel like the Vikings are pretenders. You know, yeah, JJ came back. He looked good. He had a really good game against the Lions. Um, but the Vikings defense is always suspect to me. Um, I feel, I feel like the Patriots are a contender. See them making the playoffs. I like what they got on over there. Um, the Bears are pretenders. I feel like they have a start of something that they could build off of. They're not ready yet. Um, I feel like the Seahawks are a contender. I feel like they're a well balanced team. The Rams also contenders. 49ers pretenders.
Mm.
They just can't stay healthy. You know, they gave Brock Purdy his money. He's been hurt. Got Matt Jones out there. Um, the receivers is all the team just can't stay healthy. A lot of teams just can't stay healthy this year. So now that, like you said, we're going into week 10, each game is more crucial than ever before. Now we start to see what the division's starting to shape out to look like. Like I said, we start separating teams, and at the end of the day, the cream always rise to the top.
Can I throw a pretender in there?
Go right ahead.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to look like a hater,
Um,
but
I mean, it's easy to be like, oh, 7-2. You're doing this, you're doing that. We beat Atlanta. We beat Houston. Beat the Jets. Lost to the Eagles. Lost to Detroit. The teams we beat are beatable. The teams we lost to, we're supposed to be competing with them. Those are the teams we have to see in January.
hmm
So for me, 7-2 is what you said last week, basically fool's gold,
fool's gold.
right? So not and again, I'm a Buccaneers dude, so I can say what I want about my team. And if the truth hurts, Sunny Cruz, you already know what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not that pie in the sky, me oh my, and all that nonsense. I'm gonna keep it so green with you about my team, right? Show me in a big game context what you can do, right? You got you had to buy, right? Hopefully, so people can get a little healthy, so we can come back and bring our arsenal back. Because now, we know we're gonna be without Mike Evans. We already know that. So now we just gotta come back and do what we gotta do. Bucky Irvin, it's on you, my guy. You know what I mean? At Buffalo, right? At the Rams, right, Browski? Arizona, New Orleans, Atlanta, at Carolina, at Miami, Carolina. So for me, the team, the games that we got to win at Buffalo and at the Rams. Both of them games on the road. I'm
Tough.
not sleeping on the New England game because Drake May and them doing work.
Yeah, tough.
So then, Browski, we're at Arizona, New Orleans, Atlanta, at Carolina, at Miami, Carolina. You mean to tell me out of those 6 games, we can't win all 6 of those games?
Um, well, I would look at that Carolina game because Carolina been playing
Play Carolina
decent.
twice.
Yeah, so I feel like y'all will split Carolina.
Mm.
Y'all should definitely beat the Saints. Y'all should definitely beat the Falcons. But it's hard to say definitely because everybody's hurt. You know, everybody's hurt. No Godwin, no Mike Evans. Bucky Irvin's been banged up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the kid, what's
Puka,
his name? And Buga, he's been banged up. He'll be back, but he's been banged
Vita,
up.
Vita Vea. I mean, we
He's
had some.
banged up.
Yeah, we had some things. That's what I said, Browski, because I say it, not because it sound fly or whatever. I say it because I feel like that's what it is. When we're talking about pretenders and contenders, we're going to keep it green. Like my team is
And
beating
no
up on
moves.
all the. Go ahead, Kimmy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. Okay. And no moves during the trade deadline. Y'all
None.
didn't make not one move.
And I said at the top of the show, I wish we would have got a receiver
I mean, Chris Olave, right
right
there.
there. You know what I mean? So again, that just adds on to to my statement about my Buccaneers. I feel like at this point in the game, they're not serious pretenders, but they're pretending to be a contender. How about that?
There you go. Yeah, they like a bubble team.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So that's going on right there. That's where we are right there. NFL Week 9 chop up basket. Anything else you want to add on as far as the Week 9 is concerned before we move on?
Nah, I'm good. Yeah.
All right, no doubt. That's what that is. So we are in the basketball season of things. We already just tipped off the Dick Vitale Invitational with the Texas Longhorns and the Duke Blue Devils. We got the women's college basketball. It was so much college basketball going on last night. Kyan
Yeah.
Anthony, his debut was with Syracuse. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
We had
believe Bryce. I think Bryce debuts today with Arizona.
he didn't play
He
last
didn't
night.
play.
He didn't
He
play
played
last
last
night.
night.
No, he did not. I stayed up to watch the Arizona game. He did not play last night. The reason why he didn't play is because again, they said in the preseason he really didn't look all of that. You know what I mean? But they're not going to put him in a game of a high magnitude game early in the season, like when they have some cream puff, when they like have a
Yeah.
25, 30 point lead type thing like that. But yeah, Browski, yeah, yo. You know, women's college basketball, Browski's favorite time of the year. Get to talk about South Carolina and the UConns of the world and all of that. We've already had our first college upset. I think the Duke women lose. I think they lost. So. What are you looking forward to in this particular season, Browski? Like, get ready to be 2 years removed from the Angel Reeses of the world, and all of those people. And there's no Juju.
Yeah. Looking to see who's going to step up and be that star. Is it going to be Sarah Strong? I mean, Ozzy Flood.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Or are we going to get this crazy, uh, um, duo with Fly J, Fly J, and in Malaysia for Wally, in LSU. Um, it's just who's going to pick up the slack? The fact that we have no Juju, you know. Um, we already had like some controversy out in Tennessee. The Jones got dismissed from the team from some charges that came about. Um, it just I'm just looking for competitive season, and I want to see who's going to knock UConn off the pedestal because right now, UConn number one, no defending champs.
And a super strong number one. I mean, like they said, this is the
Yeah,
strong
super
one of Gino
strong.
Auriemma's the best
Do you
teams.
know they got this girl. I believe she was from the transfer portal. She a guard. 'Cause I watched some of the game today.
Uh huh.
Um, her name, wait a minute, yeah, KK Arnold. She looks super. She looked real tough there. Sarah Strong, Ali Flood looked really good. So I'm just, you know, interested in seeing how they are going to look throughout the season without Paige Beckers. You know, Paige Beckers has been a big part of UConn, even when she wasn't playing, even when she was still hurt. Her name still rang bells there. So I'm interested in seeing her, seeing how UConn, bounce back from that. Like they beat Louisville today. Um, NC State started out strong, beating Tennessee. You know, um, so it's been real competitive so far. Right now, LSU is blown out. Houston on Christian right now. So it's just the time where some really good basketball. Um, because right now I don't know what's going to happen with the WNBA. CBA talks. I haven't heard anything about them coming up with a new deal. Um, so I'm really looking forward to this college basketball season and rival season because we may not have WNBA next season. You don't know.
Mm.
A lot of CBA talk, but the season just started. I can't wait till we get to the real down and dirty when we start getting those LSU South Carolina matchup, those Tennessee South Carolina, Tennessee LSU, UCLA USC. I can't wait for those things to start really flying in. So it's exciting. What you looking forward to in the men's side?
Um, I'm looking forward to some competitive basketball. This is where it really gets crazy when you talk about um, conferences and the transfer portal and the NIL. And I think all of that should take a back seat until we get to like Browski said, we get to conference tournaments and things of that nature. But that's when you're gonna make your money. We could talk about that now in the college game. That's when you're gonna make your money. You know what I'm saying? Um, I watched Cayenne Anthony, right? Carmelo Anthony's son. You know what I mean? Shout out to Lala. Um, for the first game, 15 points. I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it at all. He didn't look, didn't look like the moment was too big for him. You know what I mean? Again, I don't think they will ever be there because they've been in these moments where they played in front of large crowds and they, doing the AAU thing and playing it. You know what I mean? So again, this is just kind of like the culmination of everything that they've planned out and they worked for. So now the journey begins. And I think, Syracuse, Adrian Autry, my dude, coach of the Orange, they're not going to, tear the world up in the ACC. You know what I mean? I just want them to be respectable. I want Cayenne to learn the game, right? And again, make sure that, he feels comfortable playing with, the guys that he's playing with. Again, Adrian Autry is going to show him. And I think that Carmelo and that line, that lineage, that connection is what's going to make Cayenne successful up at Syracuse. And I think that when you watch a team like St. John's, I was really, really surprised that they got a top five ranking. St. John's.
Yeah.
They got a lot to prove, you know, because I think that with Rick Pitino, you're always going to have a team that's competitive and a team that's almost great, almost right. And I think that that's what maybe St. John's went through last year in the tournament when they had the kid who, kind of like didn't really play up to expectations. Patino put him on the bench, and then the kid
Yeah.
left and think, oh well, Patino ain't going nowhere until he decides that he's going to go get him another job. You
Exactly.
know, but again, St. John's, I think they're going to have a lot to prove. I think UConn disappeared as fast as they came. You know what I mean? Florida's going to be nice. Texas A&M is going to be nice. A lot of teams out on the West Coast. You notice a team I didn't say, Browski? It begins with a G.
I've been waiting for you to say Gonzaga.
Right, 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 right. We're
You
not going
only
to
talk
talk.
about Gonzaga during the tournament. You don't talk about
Yeah,
Gonzaga
we
regular
only talk
season.
about Gonzaga in March. We don't talk about Gonzaga in March. But yeah, and again, I'm looking forward to an exciting college basketball season. Like Browski said, it just really getting started. Like last night, day before, some games. But Browski, it was so many games. I was like,
So many
what
games, so
the
many
hell is
games.
this? It was
It's
games.
almost like tournament time.
Yeah, it was games all over the place. Like I'm not mad at it because every time I turned, I was like, "This was Albany and
It's a
who?
lot of games.
And Vermont and what?" I was looking at this. I was like, "Okay, I'm not mad." So we in basketball season now,
Hmm.
and the class got set back last weekend. So hopefully, you know it's 9 o'clock, not 10 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, basically that's what it is. But now we've come to the part of the show. It's not Browski's favorite part of the show yet. She gives a quick synopsis on her Philadelphia Eagles getting ready to play the Green Bay Packers on Monday night. And we like to call this segment, there you go.
Oh man, Monday Night Football.
It's on
I
you.
feel like it's
So
been
what you gonna do?
forever since the Eagles played.
Uh
It's
oh.
been forever. We
Just
had
in time.
bye. Don't play the Monday, but we get to play the Packers. We get to see a
Oh
good
man,
friend,
this is
Michael
crazy. All
Parsons.
right, yo. So we gonna do it like this.
I know he's
Browski's in the
probably
building.
chomping at the bits to play
All
against
right,
the
you good?
Eagles.
We good?
We get to see, everybody's favorite matchup because everybody swore up and down. The Packers going to be the team to knock the Eagles off the pedestal. You know, they the Eagles' biggest op. Well, it don't look like this season for them. It's not looking really good for the Packers. They are missing a key opponent in Tucker Craft. He is gone for the season. You know,
And
um,
so is that. So is their equipment manager. What kind of uniforms was those they had on? Lord have mercy.
yo, those uniforms was disgusting. They was crazy, but
Them helmets were supposed to be leather or something. What the hell was that?
yeah, yeah, it was bad. But this is looking like a regressive year for the Green Bay Packers once again. Um, Josh Jacobs isn't doing Josh Jacobs things. The offensive line is looking bad. Um, they can't stop the run. The secondary is still questionable per usual, which is also surprising to me that they didn't make a move to try to um, beef up that secondary. When you look at the division that they're in, you got Amon St. Brown, you got Justin
Justin Jefferson,
Jefferson, two top notch receivers,
Keenan Allen
and
to a certain degree in Chicago.
yeah, yeah, and you didn't make any type of move to improve your secondary. So I'm definitely Looking forward for the Eagles to go into Lambeau Field and keep the momentum going that we have built from these past 2 weeks. These last two victories of our offense now starting to roll. Looking for a complete game once again where we start and finish the game through and through. I'm tired of us getting fast starts, second half is trash. Slow starts, then the second half is good. I just want us to continue to be dominant on both sides of the ball. Um, I'm glad that now that the trade deadline is going, we can stop talking about, oh, the Eagles should trade AJ Brown. Why would we trade our number one receiver? Okay, like that's a dumb move. People don't realize that the Eagles, we don't make moves off of emotions. Yes, AJ Brown's an emotional guy. He's going to say ridiculous stuff because he wants the ball all the time. But guess what? Everybody can't get the ball all the time. You know, he has to spread the ball around. In some games, it may be your game. Other games, it may not be your game. But at the end of the day, as long as you're winning, that's what should matter. Winning. And that's what we're looking to do Monday, is to win the game. We're going to win on Monday. You want to shut all that down. Shut it all down. Stamp it right there. Eagles victory in Lambeau. A complete game. It's going to be over.
All right.
No more talks about anybody else dominating us, anybody else being our op. Eagles, we shut me down. It's over.
Yes, you heard it. Yada yada yada. Put it down. That's what it is. Yada in Sports Talk. We are in the building. Um, College football playoffs, man. The top 12 was announced tonight. Um,
The rankings, the
yeah.
rankings are ranking. I mean, okay, the first two is, that's usual what we see. Ohio State number one, of course. Indiana number two. I think Indiana definitely deserved that two spot. They've been playing lights out, really good football. Texas A&M at three, and look who's back in the top
Yeah. Right.
four.
Right. Right.
Look
Right.
who's back in the top four. Alabama. Like, that's crazy. Alabama at
That's
five.
crazy. Yeah.
You got Ole Miss at six. You got BYU at seven.
Mm-hmm.
Texas
Mm-hmm.
Tech
Mm-hmm.
at eight.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon at
Mm-hmm.
nine. Notre Dame 10.
Another one got back up in there.
Number one. Here's another guy who's making a comeback. Texas at 11. Oklahoma at 12. Crazy. And look who's in the outside looking in at Utah at 13. So now that we're getting down to where these rankings is really going to start mattering now. Texas at 11. Um, Alabama at 4. Hmm. What say you, huh?
I'm talking about a team that's not in the college football playoffs. Let me live one
Oh,
time. We gonna do to get down on it early tonight, Jack.
go right ahead.
Oh man, homie. Oh man, homie.
What are we talking
The
about?
U
Go
stands for
ahead.
you ain't no good. Let me talk about my Miami Hurricanes.
Go ahead.
I told you at the beginning of the season, what I say, Kimmy? I said, you know what? Eh, I'm going to reserve my judgment. The reservation is about to get cast in. You bum mother sorry ass Carson. Like, word up. I feel like, man, a lot of, and it's not even Mario Cristobal's fault. It's not. You got this dude Carson Beck, who you saw when he was at Georgia what he was doing. He was an interception machine.
Throwing it up.
And again, putting the cart before the horses is what's fly now in society. You win a couple games, and the next thing you know, you're Super Bowl contenders. You win a couple games in May, you're going to the World Series. You win a couple games in October, you're going to the Super Bowl. Knock it off. I told you. Not you, Kimmy. Them. I told them. I said, right. I was happy. But the question, is the U back? Is Miami back? You got Michael Irvin about to catch a heart attack over here lying. You got these dudes here talking about Miami. No. And what did I say, Browski? Every week I was like, yo, you know what? I don't know, yo. And you got to give us some credit. Because we told you before the season started about Clemson. You didn't want to listen.
It was all about Clemson.
Told you. Me and Yada Bear. Over there. That's Browski over there.
Yep. Look, side-eye Clemson.
Yeah.
Side-eye Penn State.
Didn't understand it.
That's a little crazy.
Made us look like, we need to be having, a parking space in Bristol.
Okay. LSU.
Yeah. And Miami is my squad. And I would say I didn't think that they was like, is the U back? No. Now where's the U at? So that's what I'm getting down on. I'm getting down on the Miami Hurricanes, man. And it's starting to be an annual thing, Kimmy. You notice it?
Yeah.
They start off hot. Then as soon as like the little November starts to get a little chill in the air, you lose to a Louisville. You lose to a Pittsburgh. Then you just start to go into a swoon.
Yeah.
Where's all that championship? In 12 teams. 12. You couldn't make the top 12. Let me cook, Browski. You couldn't make the top 12? As much as they talked about Miami with Carson Beck transferring from Georgia after what happened with Cam Ward, right? You're in the same or even worse boat now. Now you're going to be scrambling to try to get into the Alamo Bowl or something. You're going to be scrambling to get into one of those bowls that they put on Peacock. You know what I'm saying? You went from NBC and ABC to TNT. Right? And it irks me. And it doesn't really irk me as bad because I knew I was right. Everybody is in such a rush to have the Hurricanes beat. You're never going to see that again. As long as I stay black, I ain't never going to see that again. You ain't never going to see that again. And now that you kind of think about it, when those 30 for 30s about the Miami Hurricanes come back on, and they will be back on soon, watch them. Watch them. Those type of players from back in that day are not what you're getting right now. Uncle Luke might have been right. Uncle Luke might have been right. Because he's very powerful down there in Miami. But does he have a voice? You hear Uncle Luke all the time talking about what Miami this and Miami that. And he really went in. He really went in. And I ain't blaming him one iota because I'm a Miami dude too. But he's Miami. And he really called them out. And again, I feel like, people want so bad to get on the, how do I say this diplomatically, to get on the Bozak. Shout out Eric Sermon. The Bozak. So bad. Miami's gonna do this. Miami, Miami, Miami. Nah. And I'm gonna leave it at that. My time is up. I give it up to Browski. What you getting down on, Kim?
Nah, I mean, I think I think we should just leave it right there. I think we should leave it right there. I second that.
Um, excuse my tirade from earlier. You I,
This is
I,
fine.
I had to let it out because it was really, really frustrating me to no degree. I mean, the Louisville game was one thing, Kimmy, but
It's okay.
now you're nowhere to be found in the college football rankings, and they're totally justified.
Yes, it is.
Totally.
Well,
And you got a team like Indiana, a basketball school, at number 2 in football. Indiana's a basketball school, son. Don't get it twisted. Indiana is a basketball school.
well,
Just
just
like
like
Miami's a football school. Miami's not a basketball school. Miami's a football school. But anyway, we're about to get up out of here. You already know who it is. It's left-handed right here at RM. That's on Twitter, which is this right now. And over there is the ubiquitous Yada Bear, aka High Ceilings, aka Rain, Sleet, Hail, Snow, aka we got ours in the trade deadline and you didn't. Ha ha ha. Browski, any last words before we get up out of here?
enjoyed all these college basketball games, and the NBA is now rolling.
Yeah, yeah. Dun-dun-dun, I mean, get your NBC on tonight. You know what I mean? We'll see y'all next week. Make it do what it do. Goski don't go nowhere. Make it do what it do. We'll talk to y'all. All right? Go
All
home.
right,
Go watch some basketball. Bye.
good
Peace.
games.
Beat it. Yeah. All right. Bye bye. Toodles. All right. Yeah.